Oh wait,
Well,
no, it
hello.
wasn't. I just started.
Oh, hey. Okay. Well, hello. Welcome to the podcast episode.
Woo.
Oh.
If you're wondering where the finale is, terrible news.
So how are we structuring this chit chat? Are we going to talk about like best moments we think?
So
Uh,
yeah, I was kind of gonna go through some ideas that I had
Yes.
of what to talk about. Some of it
Okay.
includes uh
I'll let you lead the discussion.
okay, hang on.
I
So
just, I just need to get my stuff set up.
yeah, and just for reference, so everyone can like look for it if you want to. One of the things I wanted to talk about was our characters, because now the campaign's over, we don't really need to hide anything, if that makes
Right.
sense. So I was curious, what did everyone go into the campaign with their character, and then what did Dawson do to add on to it? I want to know what you
You mean what he
brought
did to mess it
to
up?
session 1. No.
that's not
I
true.
want to know what you brought to session 1 and maybe things that we never got to hear about. Uh if any at all, and what was just happened organically as the campaign went on. Because I know for Reach, I'll use me as an example. I entered with very little backstory, and it got a lot more expansive as we kept playing. So, and then it ended with what I feel like was a pretty. I was happy with the depth of the character, uh, and sort of his past and all of that.
Yours had a great arc.
I was pretty happy with the arc that ended with Pathfinder. You know, even though he perished, unfortunately. Spoilers for episode 13, which will never
The
come out.
unaired
Like anybody's
episode.
ever going to
We
see
say
it.
spoilers, but
It's a secret
nobody's
episode.
watched it.
We actually buried it in a playground somewhere, so you have to go look for the lost episode
All you have to do is
on
find it.
VHS.
The One
Of
Piece.
course.
And then you gotta
It's the
buy
One
a
Piece of
VHS
D&D.
player because nobody has those anymore. You
Of
can
course.
get them on eBay. Oh
Yeah, so it's an
lord.
expensive
Or if
endeavor.
Radio Shack
Yeah,
still
but
exists somewhere.
who who wants to start off with character?
I was gonna wait until Sam was ready before we
Mhm.
start digging into
Okay,
stuff.
they're still setting up.
There they are.
Hey!
Oh my
Hey.
gosh!
Got it all going.
All right.
Slaying.
Thank you. I guess I can start off because mine's like super simple.
Sure.
Go for it.
So I started out with a character concept that I actually created back in like 2020. Like first character concept ever. I had actually created Linux for Starfinder, right? Like the Pathfinder stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And that campaign never happened because the group I was with didn't like how grindy Pathfinder was. And so I was like, oh man, I really like this character concept, right? And the concept is an android that is obsessed with learning human behavior and eventually like learning about human emotions and how to simulate them. So that's what I went in with, right? I went in with an android, and I went in with an entertainment android specifically because I wanted to be pretty social. And right, I wanted to be social, and I know that we're like kind of role players at heart, and so I wanted some good charisma stats on that. And also I like playing support classes, so Bard was good to do. Uh so I came in there with this like musical android because what better way to learn about humanity than entertainment? And I walked out of there after like right before session 2, I think. Like it was like an hour before session 2 maybe, where it was like, "Hey buddy, you're actually part of the Black Wall, but you don't remember that. You blocked off your own memories
Mm-hmm.
because of a mission gone wrong, and in order to save yourself, you cut yourself off from the Black Wall for the preservation of it and of you." And I was like, I bet. the fuck is the
Which-
black wall?
which was one of the things that got cut. That got cut in the end. That was like supposed to be an end reveal with the final boss, but
Right, yeah. Which it was kind of
we had to,
revealed that
we had to cut
Linux
that
was.
short.
Yeah, it was kind of revealed that Linux was
It was
part of it.
heavily implied. I think I hinted at it enough to where you could piece it together,
Yeah,
or at least I'd like so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got that. Yeah, I figured.
right. That whole discussion with us, you know.
Yeah.
So
There were too many connections between you and the black wall for you to have not
right, exactly.
been associated with it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, because we actually talked about Linux was made of Blackwall tech.
Yes.
Linux predates the I don't remember what's it called in cyberpunk. Was there like an event that
Yeah.
resulted in the Blackwall? Anyways, Linux was before the event,
Yeah.
whatever it was,
Right.
the blackout or whatever. I know there's an event that's similar in Blade Runner 2049. It's called the Blackout, but that I don't know if it's similar or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever event that was
It's
is
just
the
it's just
result
a
of
guy
it.
basically like crashed the entire internet.
Impressive.
Yep. So that was basically that. It's like, cool.
Oh, gotcha.
Some Aiden Ross type motherfucker just
Right. And then I had
messed
to
up
figure out
everything.
that I, who did zero research before going into this campaign, had to figure out what the fuck the black wall was.
Yeah.
So
So
I
real.
spent a good amount of the session, because this discussion happened right before, over there Googling like, what the fuck is a black wall? What are flat runners?
You
What is
actually
happening?
looked it up,
What's
right?
this event?
Yeah.
Just in case somebody wanted to talk to me about it, and then nobody did. So fine.
You had that for your
Hey,
own
at least
internal
you were
memory.
prepared.
I was prepared.
Yeah, at least you were prepared.
So yeah, there's that. And then I ended up as the Linux you know and love, full of a strange sense of humanity and genuineness, and is just kind of vibing
A little
at
bit of
this
sass
point.
too.
A little bit of sass. Here's a little fun fact for you guys. I was actually studying the behaviors of each of your characters, and I
Oh,
was
really?
applying the way that you spoke to each other in my discussions with you. Yes. Like,
Oh.
yeah. And so I got all of that like initial aggression and sass from the way that
Did
Moose
not pick up on
behaved.
that, honestly.
Yeah. Right? And so each time like a strong thing would happen, emotionally, I would start displaying that. Right after
So
our low points, I started getting very quiet. Whenever people were nice to each other and very buddy, I picked up on the way that they spoke to each other there. hmm
you just let people imprint on you.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
That's
I
really
like
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
We were not
like,
the people to pick up personality traits
No.
from, but
No, we were not.
no, you guys were so mean to
Yeah,
each
that's
other all the time.
It's
Why do you,
it's a
bitch? Why do you think I called you a hag?
that went under the
Yeah.
radar. That's such a cool detail. It's a shame that went under the radar.
Yeah. Like the way that I spoke changed and my inflections changed as well, and the rate of speaking did so to more better reflect the group. Yeah.
You just did such a good job. We didn't even notice it.
That's the point.
It's like
That's one of those things where you look back and listen on, like it's a thing that I know that I did.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that makes it re-listenable at least. That reminds me of case studies in human behavior, where mimicking your opposite in a conversation's posture is very common to
Mhm.
like be more comfortable, essentially. So you'll notice some people when they're trying to be more appealing or they like want your approval in a conversation. If you cross your arms, they'll cross their arms. You cross your legs, they'll cross. Or they'll if they cross their legs, you'll cross your legs. Like you mimic their posture, in conversation to try and seem more relatable, and it's not it's not always a conscious thing. So that's fascinating that it's kind of those two are so similar,
Hmm.
especially since what Linux wanted, from my understanding, was to just appeal more human.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And so what it was doing was learning how to be human from all of you.
nice. Well, I think you did a fantastic job because
Thank you.
I think the campaign ended with you being, oddly enough, one of the most humane of our group.
Literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
just funny. There's a saying
Yeah.
in Blade Runner called "more human than human." I think
Hmm.
that kind of fits in this case, especially considering who we were facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What did I want to know where Moose started because Moose's thing was whole like super entwined to everything that was going on. So what was the original character
Yeah,
concept?
I wanna say
Okay.
Moose has probably got the most backstory build
Yeah,
and
because we
structure.
because we set everything up for a session. Not a lot really changed at all through it. Um,
Except Condor.
oh yeah.
Condor's a trans mascot con.
Okay,
Hey.
so when I originally I made a list of characters that Moose knew in Russia, and I gave it to Dawson. And Condor was supposed to be a woman, and I don't know if you just skimmed over
Wait, really?
her. Yeah, she had a
I
woman
don't
name.
I don't think I saw that.
Her pronouns. They were
Oh,
like listed in her little bio, and she just came out as a man, and I was like, okay, so I just went and changed it.
Trans mask icon. We
you
stand. Happy
should have said
Pride,
something.
everyone.
I I
No,
did not
you
I did
know
not see that. You should have
I think Dawson just
that
hates
is
playing women.
entirely okay.
you should have said something.
It
Yeah,
honestly,
I'm not very confident in my women voice.
Fair.
honestly, I think Condor was still a really cool
No,
character
it's Condor male. It's male unless you
because I
changed it.
changed it.
Megan changed
Because
it
I
for your
changed it.
benefit.
Okay. Okay.
Because
That's
I gave
funny.
him a sheet that had their
Yeah,
names, their code
Oh boy,
names,
Dawson.
had their physical
that's
appearance,
hilarious.
and their relationship to Moose, how long she's known them, where she met them,
Yeah,
whatever. And her name, I think I made it like Anya or something. And anytime she was like referred to in her little bio, she had like she her pronouns. And then she came out as a guy, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just really quickly Googled like like a guy name in Russian or whatever, and then just swapped it.
Okay, so what are all of
that's
their
hilarious.
government names?
Okay, let me pull out my document for you guys.
Right, because I know Steel
Yeah, I
Condor
was one of
Whistle.
I'm so mad that I didn't get to see Roach. I didn't think about it until afterwards.
Speaking of Roach,
Yes.
I was there. I mentioned.
the
I mentioned.
common cockroaches, I had such huge plans for them, and they
We
never
never
Oh yeah.
used
got
it.
used. And in the final fight, I couldn't use
Yeah,
my
yeah.
napalm grenades. So all of that
Mm,
prepping we
Literally.
did for the fight, it just didn't.
Oh,
nothing.
It just
yeah.
Yeah,
ended up
none of it went down.
Was. But also, we were a little time constrained, so it's not
That's true.
100% your fault.
Yeah.
If we
I'll
had had
take
more time
partial
to
blame for
plan.
that.
My plan was to use the kama cockroaches to try and use. I was originally gonna put one of them on like the doctor lady and hold her like hostage basically.
Hostage.
But then we didn't end up doing that because the scene just played out so differently. And
Yeah.
then my plan was to use both of them to secretly like get on to make them get onto the guy that I didn't remember his name, who's the big bad with
Markov.
Markov.
so get them on Markov's like back or something, and then fly away and detonate them to try and get them really low. but I totally forgot. In those like final moments, I forgot that I had a hostage strapped to my chest, so I forgot a lot of things.
Yeah, we fully.
But again, time constraints.
I panicked.
Yeah, if we had had more time to
Exactly.
properly plan, I
Yeah.
think some of that stuff could come into fruition. But
Not entirely your fault.
Yeah, actually,
Anyway.
something I started doing with the in-person campaign over here is actually last session yesterday. I paused everybody and I was like, "Do we have a plan before we go
Yeah.
into this?" Because I've learned.
Yeah.
and then I
glad.
completely deviated from your plan.
But it turned out to work out really fucking well.
We were fighting a vampire, and I snuck away from the rest of the group. Got stuck in his bedroom. So then he respawned there after they beat the shit out of him, and I just snaked him through the heart and like totally killed him. It was so good.
Yeah,
Just
we
spot
unintentionally
I did. I was
the best
spawn camping
outcome
him.
we could have for that fight.
That's awesome.
It was
That's
I
hilarious.
never hit anything ever. Like, you guys know that I can't hit anything for shit. I really can't hit anything for shit in that
Yeah,
other
you
campaign.
play-
And that's one of the 3 times I've ever hit anything.
In the other campaign we are about to start playing again, you play a character who just doesn't attack.
That too.
You just play an engineer.
You're right. And I think that's where I'm needed the best. So
It
Well,
works.
yeah.
You do well in sport.
I
You
do.
do.
Anyways, my buddies. Let me see.
Sorry for
I
that
think they're
derailment, but-
all male characters now.
Yeah.
Yes, they're all guy characters because Condor was going to be the one
I
diversity in there, and you erased it.
Yeah, we hate diversity here. It's not
Hey,
okay.
it's a new
Literally.
diversity. Trans mask
Zero
icon.
diversity
That's my
character.
canon.
Yeah, Condor
yeah,
is trans
canon
now. So Whistle, his name is Nikolai. I tried drawing him at one point. He looks like young Leo DiCaprio.
It is Whistle's world, and we are living in it.
I know. He's so
God
great.
Damn.
We already know
I
Petter's,
forgot that he looked like young Leo.
Petor's name. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Steel, his name was
Now try
He
saying
was
his last name.
bald. Do what?
Steele's name
I
was
said
what?
try saying his last name.
Kapustov? Think's how you say it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, exactly. He was really tan, he was bald, stocky, and we already know that he was pretty chromed and really aggressive. That's his whole personality.
He's also
Condor. What?
They made out in the truck.
You're right, I forgot he was gay.
What?
Hey,
Yes,
hey.
that was definitely cover. That was definitely for cover.
Yeah,
For
you're right.
sure for cover.
We got
You're
some
so right.
diversity in there.
There's a lot of cover scenarios where it's men doing questionable things with each other.
Hey,
Is it wrong to love another man?
have you not seen Naked Lunch? Homosexuality is the best cover.
It
I
really
have
is.
not seen that.
It's a line
What?
from a movie called Naked Lunch, where this guy, he's like he has to pretend to be gay because his typewriter that's also a bug tells him to, and his typewriter that's also a bug that also gets horny when he types on it is like, homosexuality is the best cover.
It sounds like a weird.
Hey,
movie.
Oren. Happy to
Hello.
have you here, buddy.
Hi, welcome.
Oh, hello, Warren.
Nice of you to
What's
join
up?
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was dealing with some shit.
You're fine.
Like Destiny 2?
No, actually, I've been taking a hiatus from that game for a minute.
Oh, okay, good.
Don't
That's good
ever
for
go
mental
back.
health.
Yeah.
I'm glad to start
Yeah.
respecting yourself.
Huh?
Condor. Like I said, his name was supposed to be Anya. I changed it to Abid.
Abed?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
He is like totally jacked, heavily tattooed, and he has really long, straight black hair. And then Roach, who we never got to meet, his name was Ivan. He was just, he was just kind of an average guy.
Then why were you
Yeah.
excited
He
to
was-
meet him?
Because he was very close to Moose,
Okay.
okay? He's not physically interesting.
Yeah, there
He's-
was a line somewhere about Roach picking up Moose's stuff that she left behind,
Yeah.
and then that's all we got of Roach.
And then that's all I got to know about him. I also I made her a whole family and wrote down other people she would have known throughout her life. Not that it was gonna be needed, but just for funsies. But anyway, Moose's backstory we made up immediately, and it didn't really change at all through most of it. Although there was one thing that was gonna be important that never came to fruition, as far as I know. So most of it, I believe, she lore dumped on you guys. That obviously she grew up in Russia. She was in the military. She did a lot of covert ops missions, a lot with her Russian friends. She was actually a sergeant at one point, and Markov was her superior. So if she would go, if her and her team would go in to do stuff, and something went wrong, Markov would come in and just wipe everyone from existence. He was really bad, and
it's he would obviously he'd get you done, but in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
What was his code name again?
Salvage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he totally picked on Moose for a majority of the time that he knew her. I guess because she was too soft or too nice in his opinion. And then, she eventually told him to leave her alone, so they killed her husband. Which was great. And she left immediately because she was terrified that he just, could up and do that. The rest of that is not really that entertaining. Came to Night City and then obviously joined Trauma Team. Somewhere after that, I like to think that in between her getting to Night City and then her working for Trauma Team, she worked at Stuff and Tough and watched it die. Just because I think that's really funny.
That was your side
That
gig.
sounds about right.
That was her side gig before she found Trauma Team.
The elevator that doesn't work.
She remembers the story of how that broke.
What is the story of how it broke? Curious.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, well then why'd you say she knows it if you don't know it?
Because it was a joke.
Well,
I'll make it up on the spot later. Okay.
jeez. Maybe whenever we build our base there in the future, if we ever go back to it.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah, me and Megan have already talked about that. If we do ever revisit the Cyberpunk and we start off with the Blackhawks and everything, we're gonna turn the Stuff and Tough into our headquarters.
Hell yeah.
I've never heard a
I'm
better
so
about
Did I
down.
not?
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
terrible.
the best
but
idea.
also
What are
kind
you
of funny.
talking about? Did I
I
not
think that would
write?
be hilarious.
Hiding in plain sight.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Because I couldn't. I guess I wrote the stuff for the whole Trauma Team thing in a different area, but there was one thing that was gonna be a big, I guess, plot point that happened while she was in Trauma Team and was the reason that she left. She was on, some mission, whatever, to go save one of her clients that was a very high up guy, right? Goes in, obviously her team's taking care of whoever the fuck attacked this guy, and she goes to offer assistance to him. And it's very obvious that he can't be saved. He's gonna die. And so he gives her he was a member of Aristocrat, I guess. But he had information on weapons for an arms deal with the government that was super top secret. Specifically had plans to make this big super weapon that only a select few people ever knew. And he's like, here, don't give this to anyone. And then he died. And then Moose got blamed for his death. So she immediately left, went rogue, and hid under the radar with this info that could potentially totally kill her if anyone found out. And that was gonna be a thing. That was when I got the chip off of Angel and I erased everything about me, it was because I was worried there was stuff tying me to that you guys would have found out. But of
Ah.
course, nothing ever came of it. So really,
Yeah.
I mean,
We just none of the plot points just really like gave a good chance to really explore it.
yeah. Which honestly isn't that bad. Like it would have been fun to go through with that, but I think having the whole thing with Markov
Yeah, that could be a plot line we
was.
could deal with later.
You're so right. If we ever return to this, and of course, Moose was going to be a whole thing that she doesn't like any Chrome. She wasn't going to get any whatever. But after being with all of you guys and watching you guys get Chrome and everything, she was like, "Well, I think
Got
it's." She was like,
FOMO.
"It's."
You got peer pressured
Basically,
into body
she knew there was
modification.
no winning without any of it, and so
And
she got little bits.
Gotcha.
If we ever play this again, she will probably get more, to be honest. But
It could be like
and she
Reach.
really was. No,
Oh.
that'd be like the worst thing ever.
No, that's not very nice.
And I wish if we had played longer, she could have told you how much she actually like didn't dislike you. Like she actually liked you a lot.
Well,
But
you should have told him that before he died.
well, it's not my fault. You
never
kept
know.
calling me an old bitch.
He'll never know.
He'll never
Yeah.
know now.
I know.
He died thinking that you thought he had a small dick and was a bad person.
What a first impression it was.
I know.
Literally first session.
It's probably the strongest character introduction I've ever had.
Very
And it went
strong.
so poorly.
Mhm.
It went so bad for me that it resulted in a rivalry with another person for like the entire campaign.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it made for fun team chemistry.
It did.
It did. It sure did.
So yeah, that was Moose's whole shtick. That really, it was the same throughout the whole thing. So
I actually have a couple of things written down of what Linux got off of the chip that was erased.
Oh.
Because Linux did erase it from the chip, but did not erase it from its memory.
True.
And
Sorry.
so
Yeah, that was like a secret.
Which I think I insight checked you on that, but I just
essentially
never got
downloaded
it.
and then
No.
deleted it.
No, yeah, I surpassed your insight on that.
Yeah.
What I have written down, and maybe you can clarify on what some of it means. There's a piece of tech embedded in her that never saw the light of day. I imagine is that weird super weapon thing. And then I have written down there was an incident with Reach, a lot of redacted information, multiple mentions of a replacement signed by Miss Reach. That's what I got off of that chip. Which that's the part that I'm curious about. But maybe
Reach.
Yeah, and then I have information about Click's dad and the warehouse he was at, confirmed NUSA agent to send to investigate the Russians. So I'm very curious as to how these relate to everyone's backstory bits. Interesting.
Reach, why don't you go next?
Yeah.
So this is going to be a little disappointing, I think, to everybody. But I went in with very, very little. So the idea behind Reach was, oh, we're doing a cyberpunk setting. I watched Cyberpunk, and the main character of Cyberpunk, his whole shtick is that he thinks he's special because he has a higher tolerance for Chrome than everybody. And his whole backstory is like a thing, but you should watch the show.
It's a really good show.
It's a really good show. Basically, his character is just like he believes he is special. People tell him he's special, and it leads him down a path that is very entertaining to watch. So I won't spoil it for anybody. But so the inspiration from Reach kind of came from that a little bit, where Reach's father was a cyber. Reach's father was an edge runner who turned cyber psycho and got shot down. Reach knows this because he watched it. He watched the brain dance of it happening. So he's lived his father dying more than
Oh.
once, and his relationship with his mother was basically that he never knew her, and instead his grandfather stepped up, and his grandfather kept putting him in school, wanted him to get some sort of job in corp, or he wanted him to become a trauma team person. I think isn't his grandfather an actual member of trauma team, Dawson?
I don't think we actually discussed that.
Never discussed it. Okay. Well, he had to do something with like trauma team management maybe, but essentially he had like a stable job, respectable job per se, and he wanted the same for Reach. But obviously Reach didn't really want that, or he couldn't have it. It's not something that ever interested in him. Instead, after seeing what happened to his dad and his grandpa, who meaned well, would say things along the lines of "be better than you were yesterday," right? Or you need to look good. You need to do good in school. You need to be better, essentially. And kind of drilling that into his head from a really young age with everything else going on, kind of turned him into this somewhat egotistic, extremely ambitious Chrome junkie. He got his first piece of tech when he was still a teenager. He didn't have permission, and he got seriously chewed out for it. And after that, he left home. He dipped. Last thing his grandpa said was, get that removed or don't come back. So he never went back, and he never spoke to his grandfather. He never got to go back and speak to his grandfather and make things right. I was maybe gonna do it like at the end of the campaign, but he died. So that's it. That was his whole relationship with his family was just not good. And
Mm.
he went off to become a beta tester, essentially. He kept getting chipped, some of it illegal, and eventually he got picked up or entered like trials at two different companies. And this is what I thought would become the conflict, which actually didn't end up becoming any conflict at all. But basically, he signed on to be a beta tester for two competing companies, Militech and Acne Corp, or what is it? Was it called?
Uh, yeah, what is that?
Oh, okay.
I
There's,
I don't
there's
remember.
two Arasaka, right?
I think
Awasaka,
it was another one,
or was there another one?
something like that. I think it was something else, but doesn't really matter.
I looked for the DMs, but I couldn't find them. But essentially, he was the beta tester for Awasaka, and he was the beta tester for Militech. But each of them were exclusive contracts. So he was technically like duping two massive companies and signing non-disclosure agreements for secret tech and agreeing to be chipped with them. And during these sessions where he would go into these like warehouses at the edge of the city or like deep into these company buildings and down into a ripper dock facility where they would tear him apart and put him back together again, on his way out he would steal Chrome. He would bring it back to the Ripper Doc that we met and that you guys would come to know as I visited him often.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have the Ripper Doc chip that beta tech, which was technically like alpha tech. So I was taking stuff that hadn't even made beta and I was chipping it in myself. Not recommended, okay? Some of which never got used. You might be surprised to know how much Chrome I had on me. So give me 1 second.
He had a lot of
2,
stuff.
3, 4,
Oh, please tell me.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different pieces of Chrome I had chipped.
Holy
Holy
shit.
shit, dude.
Now, the DC for my cyberpsychosis saving throws was 10 plus the amount of Chrome that I had chipped, like the number of upgrades that I had. My constitution wasn't high enough to succeed a saving throw of 24. So I entered the campaign. I think it was like session 3 when I went over the threshold. From session 3 onward, or maybe it was session 2. From session 2 onward, basically when I get like my first chip or the second chip of the game, it's no longer possible for me to not succumb to cyberpsychosis.
Yeah, the only thing keeping her
Oh.
going with the injection.
So that's when Tubby started appearing.
So
Sergeant Tubby. And
you were not kidding when you were like, yeah, he's not built for a very long campaign.
no,
No.
I built him for a one shot, and it turned into more than a one shot, and I got really nervous going on because I was like, if Dawson asked me to make a cyberpsychosis check, it's not happening. And eventually he just stopped asking and was like, you just see Tubby. And I was like, yeah, oh, all right. This is bad. So
Oh yeah, that's kind of fair because there's no way you're gonna succeed anyhow.
exactly. So most of the campaign, I was just not capable of resisting the cyberpsychosis.
Yeah, I just kind of turned it into a role play thing instead of like a check.
Yeah. It made sense. I couldn't succeed anyways, so.
It was literally at the very beginning.
Yeah. Things about Reach that I can't answer are anything related to his mother, Miss Reach, because Reach died before any of this became important. I had so many questions for my own character, by the way. I had so many questions that just are probably not going to get answered unless we play this again. But Reach's mother, still know nothing about her. I think she works in Corpo, probably. That's what his dad said, something along the lines of. But if she works in Corpo, my theory is that she's an executive, and the reason the relationship couldn't be public was because of the thing that his father did, being an edge runner for one, and then also the cyberpsychosis would make her look bad. So she couldn't have any ties with me or my dad at all. This is my current theory. It's possible she also got me into those beta testing contracts with those two companies. But that's just another theory. And I can't answer anything about what exactly I was in regards to the experiment. Because a question that I had that never got answered had to do with the scientist lady. This is a reason I didn't want to kill her. When I said I thought she knew something in character, that was also me, Daniel, talking. She knows something about Reach that we didn't get to know. I didn't
Yeah,
get to know about. And
yeah, she was weirdly attached to him.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
There was just something else about Reach being the prototype too that did make sense to me. A prototype is improved upon, but Reach seemed to be the most successful version. Besides, I don't know what their goal was either with Reach specifically. Because if the goal was to control the cyberpsychosis, then yeah, Reach was a failure. But there seemed to be more to it than that for Reach specifically. Almost like he was a prototype for a different experiment that then got merged with the Russians at a later point and then was just used as a reference or something. But I don't know for sure about any of that. My theory was that Thorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My wildest theory, which is for sure not true, was maybe Reach was Thorn, and that there was an issue with him getting chipped too much, or something. But that doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. And my second theory was that the scientist is his mother. But that also to me doesn't make it, there's just not enough clues for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It would have been a twist and it just never happened. If that makes
yeah.
sense.
Megan
I
and
kind of
I,
was thinking of that too.
yeah, we had some theories about like the scientist or about Thorn in particular.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking about that.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Were you
I'm
talking
gonna
about
scroll
that?
past. Yeah,
About like
somewhere.
who,
Oh yes, that's
yeah.
right.
At one point we were like, we're like, yeah, she's involved somehow. Like this woman is involved somehow and knows more things about this. And then it's like, or maybe she's related to Reach somehow. Like she's really attached to him, and it's like that too. Maybe TBH is probably the reality. And I said, $10 says she built him. 15 says she's his mom. And Megan said that she'd side with me on that. And I said, because I was increasing the money amount by how unlikely it was.
Hmm.
But
Uh-huh.
and I said, 20 says Click's mom is Thorn. Like it was,
That would be
Nuts.
crazy.
well, because
What a
I
twist.
caught something that nobody else did. And
No, I caught the same thing.
this might have just been a little slip of the tongue, but at one point you were talking about Thorn, you Dawson, and you said she. And so I caught that and was like, all right, what she's do I know? And started just being like, all right, okay,
Yeah, I thought of it too, but I was
go.
like, who could it be? That's so many people.
Yeah, don't tell us just in case we go back to this world, but just know, we're on to you.
We did never figure out what all of the compartments in Click's mom's apartment was for. She had like that
No,
secret
yeah.
wall of guns, right?
Yeah.
Oh
She had a
yeah.
secret
Yep.
wall where there was like divots for guns and a uniform, and we never figured
Yep.
out what the weaponry was, and we never figured out what the uniform was. Because she
Yep.
never came home.
It's possible though that was also just Reach's, or sorry, fuck. It's also Click's dad's old stuff because Click's father was a spy,
Right,
and so that could be his uniform, his guns, and that
right.
makes more sense in the context of the
But
campaign.
why would that stuff be gone then?
Right is the question.
She cleaned
And
it
why
up.
was she or why would she have like hidden it from him? So
She hid a lot
and
of
why not come back?
things from Click.
She really
Mhm.
did. And we never got answers as to like what she was hiding and why.
But speaking of Click,
Yeah, speaking of Click, so
Yeah,
tell,
how'd
tell
Click
us
start
about
out?
Click, Gail.
starting out, one, he was supposed to be way more of a jackass. And kind of a creep. I was gonna play him like a douchebag. But then I never did it because I'm a pussy and I can't do that personally. I just would feel bad horribly. Uh
I would have been the only one you were being weird to anyway.
yeah, I just can't do that. Just
Okay.
personally. Nope.
You could have been attracted to robots.
I mean,
Nope. But there's that. One thing that never really got brought up, which I could have brought up, but just never did, because I either didn't think about it at the time or didn't think it was the right place to do it, whatever, was his history with religion. Because he was supposed to be not ex Catholic, because he still believed in the Lord and Virgin. It was
you're
more of a
cutting out.
thing that he accepted his fate once he became a merc. Gates to pearly gates
Oh,
were closed to him.
that's right.
And that was a conversation I think I was gonna have with Reach. I was really planning on having kind of like a spiritual conversation like that with Reach, and it just never happened.
No,
Uh,
no.
and his mom, another thing, his mom is Latina, because Click is half. That's why his skin is actually so tan, because he's
Fuck yeah, dude.
We got representation.
He's half Mexican, but
Okay, I was about to ask if you had like a
that never really
specific
got brought
country
up
told you
because
in
when we first met Click's mom, she was none of that really.
Yeah.
But also I just straight up forgot to inform you about his mother really because I gave you like a quick rundown of her, but I never really like gave you
Yeah.
much to work
I don't
up.
think
To be honest,
I don't think you told me her ethnicity
no.
or anything.
Then there's just some other stuff with like more of his backstory.
Well, tell us his backstory.
Well, his backstory is still there. Nothing about it's really changed. He was looking for his father because, for years, pretty much when he went to high school, he'd always ask his mom like all the time, who was my dad? What did he do? Where's the rest of our family? No, 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 no. And she finally said something about the Aldecados, right? Which is basically like ATV gang out in the outskirts of Night City. So he went out there one day to see the Aldecados, and they just told him to turn tail and never come back because he wasn't accepted in the family. His father did. So from then on, Click wanted to know who the hell his dad was. He wanted to find his dad and figure out what happened. And, we found out he was an NWSA agent, which that's probably why it pissed off the Aldecados, is because the Aldecados are very, very anti-government, anti-corpo. But yeah, that's one thing that never really I got to figure out was with the Aldecados. Because that's kind of like where I wanted the story to end, was for him to meet back up with them, make things right. Never really. Another thing that did happen, but it was off screen and only me and Megan know about, and it's an interaction I really enjoyed, was when I got drunk off Kahlua. But we were talking, and Click had brought up that one of the books that his mother got for him when he was younger, which actual like physical like hard copy books in Cyberpunk are extremely rare. But she got him Treasure Island, with Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver, all that. And so he was talking to Moose about how much this book had like a profound impact on him, like how he is as a person. Because here's this book about this kid who wants to become this pirate, go on this great adventure. And he doesn't want to be the kind of pirate that just kills people and steals things unceremoniously. He wanted to make a change. And Click wanted to be the best merc in Night City and one that actually made a difference. He didn't just get the easy targets. He didn't just get the targets that paid out the most. He wanted the targets that if he got rid of that person, the world would be a better place tomorrow. And the Blackhawks, the kind of name behind that is Hawkins, Jim Hawkins, the main character of Treasure Island.
Mhm.
That's where the hawk comes from.
Ah.
Yeah. So he wants to be the best pirate, basically. I just thought that was cool.
That's really
That
cool.
is cool.
I don't
And
have
also, sorry, but it also really made sense to me that there's this weird shit with Click's mom. It's like that would probably explain why he had a book when he was a kid, like a hardback physical book, because she probably made a lot of money. And if she's doing this weird fuck shit, it's probably making a lot of money.
Or his dad. It could be his dad's.
Or yeah, that too. I also did not expect to find my dad. Really.
You didn't find him for very long.
Well, I
to
didn't
be
find him.
fair.
He was brought to me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really.
I did
know
have
more to
another
say about
interaction
that.
planned with him. when the guy died and he gave you that key, that
Yeah.
was supposed to be to the warehouse,
That's what I was thinking.
but you never did
Yeah.
anything with it. So
Well, because we're so focused on trying to kill Markov.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe
you
we're
know,
a little
I just
too
give you stuff.
hasty about
You
that.
guys do what you do with it.
Which I have a question about Click's dad, right? Because the current continuity is that he is the guy that Linux met in that alleyway that like sent it on the quest to find everybody.
Yep.
Right? Like he had information on the three of them. Sent me to find them.
Yep.
And then I thought that he died. Right? I thought that I was like there was this guy and he died in front of my eyes. Like there was a whole thing where this guy freaking died in front of Linux. So how did he not die?
Well, you say, when you left, he was being chased by Russians. That's where all the other dead people were, and
Uh-huh.
another team came in and picked him up and managed to save his life before he finally croaked.
Gotcha.
Sort of like what you did with Reach when he got a hole through his chest.
Yeah.
Dude, Reach
Yeah.
getting bisected. Holy shit.
Oh my
Horrible.
When he got
gosh.
bisected, I was like, that's it. He's gone.
Yeah.
There's
I was
nothing
like
we can do about that.
I was like, yeah, we can't save him, but Linux is gonna try.
Yeah.
But that gave us such good final moments with him
it really
too.
did.
Yeah, I was like, Sam knows better, but Linux will do everything.
As far as like deep character stuff, I'm gonna be honest. The deepest I went with Reach, besides the, be better than you were yesterday, was just his last name, Reach. I think I already
Yeah.
talked about this actually. His
You
the-
talked about it with us. Kale
Yeah.
didn't hear it though.
oh, okay, Kale. So Reach's last name is a reference to his goal and his
Yeah.
his whole family's goal really. Like the
Yeah.
Reach bloodline, if you look at his grandfather and then his dad. So his grandfather obviously found success. His father reached for it, didn't get there, and
Mhm.
then Reach took the harder path. And I guess it depends on your perspective on whether or not he actually attained what he sought after, being someone special, being someone who made an impact on the world.
Without you, Markov wouldn't be dead. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I'll say
But-
that confident.
Yeah, Reach's last name is a reference to him reaching for greatness, constantly stretching towards being special,
Mhm.
which is how I kind of
Yeah,
separated
and
his character from the main one in Cyberpunk. Because the main one in Cyberpunk just believes he's special. Reach wanted to be special so badly that he spent
which
most of his life just reaching for it.
Yeah, Megan told me that last weekend, and my response to that was, I picked up on that like a while ago.
That's nice.
Yeah,
makes this whole character arc really good in my opinion because
it
you
was.
essentially started out the entire story of being basically untouchable except for this one guy. You were basically already at the top, throughout the entire story, and then once we get to the end, you die by the one obstacle you couldn't overcome, and several hundred feet underground at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's like reverse of what
That's
most
such a good point, actually.
stories would be.
Yeah. It was just never going to be good enough. And that was the idea. It didn't matter what the cost was, it was never enough.
And if Reach and Click never became chooms, Click would have just left after that. He would have just gone his own separate way and done his own thing. Reach really inspired him. Like Click heavily admired Reach. He saw him as this pinnacle of not just physical strength, but strength of spirit. This dude that just won't stop. And it was a little scary sometimes because I mean, Click said it before multiple times that Reach is gonna die. Like I'm friends with this dude, and he's really admire our friendship, but I know that one day it's just gonna catch up to me. But that was admirable.
Hmm.
It's really sweet because I think Reach saw Click as honestly someone that he admired a little bit. Because Click had something that, or like from Reach's perspective, Click had something that Reach never did, and it was like it's just satisfaction. You seemed to be okay with where you were, right? And from Reach's perspective,
Yeah.
that was what he was reaching for. To feel good the way you were. To feel good as Reach. And I don't think that's something he ever got, even in the end. I think he.
The only thing that ever really bothered Click was his dad, really.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was, I guess, satisfied for the time being that he had his mother.
If it ever came
Things
down
are
to
good
it,
there.
Reach would have dropped everything to help Click find his dad. That's how good of a friend he saw you as. Because again, Reach like had no friends when this campaign started. Reach had nobody, and he started. I think maybe it was session 1 or 2. He started this campaign immediately being insulted, and his ego just dropped. Like he started at such a low point, uh, and Click just like I don't know, just like being willing to be his friend or just being on the same level. Really, I
Because he
think
saw genuine passion with Reach. Because every other like friend he had, like in high school and whatnot, the original Blackhawks, um, there were just other kids in his high school that wanted to be tough, be cool, and like get some extra scratch because their parents wouldn't give it to them. They live in low income, right? And so they weren't really genuine friends. It was more of just like they were in it for the scratch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, did you know? Did I ever tell you what Reach's race was?
Tortle, right?
Yeah.
Because I guessed that. I think.
Mm-hmm. So Reach's race in D&D Beyond is Turtle, which
That's
was
wild.
where Tortoise Protocol comes from
Yeah.
in the first place, and then his build is one of the worst I've ever seen. I put all my points into self-defense and self-destruction, and it is very clear when you look at this list. I am Hexblade 1, Phoenix Sorcerer 1, Wizard 4. Now, on the surface, it doesn't sound bad, but I am a blade singing wizard. Uh, the whole reason I dipped into Sorcerer was just so I could get Mantle of Flame, which just means I light myself on fire, and I deal a little extra damage. So not worth multi-classing at all. But I took it anyways because it seemed like something Reach would do.
Yeah.
And then I only took one level of Hexblade Warlock for obviously Hexblade's Curse, which I used once in the entire campaign. And I had that level of Hexblade for over, I think, 7 sessions. And I only used it once. And it wasn't
Damn.
against Markov in the final fight. I didn't get to. So most of those abilities I never used, which was what made this multi-class so bad. Also, they all require a bonus action to activate. So it takes 3 turns for Reach to charge up. To actually
That's
activate all my
tragic.
stuff. It's
That
bad.
is
He's
kinda
not an optimized build at all, but he seems like it because his AC is so high.
You just can't get hit.
It's just hard for him to take damage. The maximum AC that he can get, I think I mentioned this as well.
It's like 30.
It's over 30. If he activates Tortoise Protocol, it's +4. He gets a +2 from Blade Singer. So the +2 from his Blade Song gives him up to 20. Or hang on, that's not accurate. Give me a second. Okay. So his natural AC is 20. Sorry. His Blade Song brings it up to +2, so that's 22. Plus Tortoise Protocol brings him up to 26. Plus the 5 from the Shield spell brings him up to 31. So reaches maximum armor classes in the 30s.
What was your max health?
I gotta refresh the character sheet because he's dead, so it won't tell me. Give me a second.
Oh,
His maximum HP at level 6 is 34.
Oh, oh Lord.
He's so fragile. He's so brittle. And I think it's because his core is so unstable. Like, just all of his tech is just so alpha and it's just so, like, prototype. He's such a
Yeah.
prototype that he's
Yeah.
just he'll fall
Such
at a
a-
moment's notice. He'll
Are
explode.
you saying Reach was a beta?
I was trying to avoid saying any of that, actually.
He's a beta.
Yeah, sure.
what did everyone else choose for their races on D&D Beyond?
I chose
Warforged.
the best race.
Human variant?
That's what I chose. Yeah, human variant.
Yeah, baby.
Always, all the time.
Wow.
3 feet at level 1. Let's go. Such a sucker
What did
for human
would you
variant.
pick, Oren?
I picked Dragonborn.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because then I could get a breath weapon, which we later vitalized as like a just like I open up my jaw and just spit out lightning.
Yeah.
Like a Tesla gun.
Yeah.
I think
think-
mine.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I headcanoned Pomty or Rex's theme song. It's fucking Virgil's from Devil May Cry. On the storm that's approaching.
Good.
the storm.
Okay.
So Orem.
What's up?
Oren with an
Oren.
N.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Listen, you say it so weird.
I understood it. It's fine.
It's Oren.
Well, you cut out, so I didn't even hear what you said.
Oh, well, it's Oren.
Like orange, but without the G.
Oren.
That's actually how my grandpa used to like talk about me. Was like that's a weird name. How do you spell that? Or like how do you pronounce that? And he was like, it's orange without the G because it's in my last name.
Anyways,
very
Cool,
funny.
actually.
It was funny.
Oren.
Yeah.
What did you enter the campaign with in terms of like character backstory and stuff? And then what was made
Okay,
up along the
so
way?
it's actually kind of funny. I was gonna try and do like this like I was just gonna get home from work every day and then like work on the backstory. And my ADHD got the better of me because I didn't come up with any of it until like the night before I started playing. But
Good job.
Yeah,
and then
standard.
a lot of stuff that I had like in my head got changed a little bit. Just due to the fact that like I didn't have a whole lot of communication with like Dawson.
I think the backstory that me and you worked on together, what got changed of it, so much for the better. Because that
Yeah.
reveal in the last session, oh my god, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely liked where my backstory went. Like the original idea that I had for my character was that he was like what actually happened in the backstory was that like he was born and then given to a corporation and was actually like a test subject for Chrome that they were going to put into like their soldiers. And so basically he was the alpha project for this like corporation. And so that's why I had so much like mysterious tech that didn't have any documentation on it. Because it was literally just in the test phasing. And so when he lost his memories, he didn't like know anything about what was inside of him. But like he still had like some of the training that he was taught in the corporation. but that was like the backstory that I gave him, was that he was literally just born into a corporation. And I actually do really like the backstory that came out of the ending, where
It's
like I had
traumatizing
a
as hell.
yeah,
So
where I
so
was
pain.
It
I,
was
I
so good
literally
though.
just like was a test subject, but
It's
I
got
had like friends in
similarities.
there, and they just like
Yeah.
all got killed by me after I went cyber psycho. And so but yeah, that was like relatively what I had for the backstory of him. But yeah, there was like a twist that I came up with in my mind, like halfway through when I started playing. Um, and it was gonna be like I was like I had a brother that I didn't know about, and he was gonna be like the 2.0 version of me. And so I was basically just gonna be old tech fighting new tech
We could
at
do
the
that.
end.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's Cars 3.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Are you ripping Cars 3?
Yeah, I guess.
That can be a side quest.
Yeah,
My favorite
just a side quest.
thing that you did with Aurum, personally, was a line that you said where you're like, I don't know if this is me or if this is my cyber psychosis. And that like
That hit hard. Oh
I
god.
loved that so much. The
Yeah.
idea that
Yeah,
this was because the whole point of the program was to control the cyber psychosis, right?
yeah,
To negate the effects of cyber psychosis. The idea that you are a psycho version of yourself, but you don't know it. Oh god, it's so good.
yeah. Like
It was.
whenever Dawson like dropped the uh dropped what was in the videos, like I genuinely didn't know if like my character was like constantly in cyberpsychosis, which is what I was planning to have like the rage be with Barbarian, was that like I just went cyberpsychosis and just like went rampant. Um but no, like
That'd make more sense if you're like what is it called? Frenzy Barbarian?
yeah, it would have made a lot more sense for that, but
Ooh.
I went with the EMP blast instead because I thought it would fit like the um so much tech that like we don't even know what was inside of me. Um but regardless, there was another thing that oh yeah, so I had there's a reason why I had like such a deep connection with my character, with like him losing his memories and stuff. And it was because of the fact that like me as a person, I currently don't know why I exist. Like I have a very big problem with existence and just like being here on it.
Yeah.
And
I
so
thought you were gonna say you got your memory wiped.
Same. I thought you were
yeah,
going with the amnesia route. I was like, he's gonna say like got
Yeah,
amnesia or something.
I wasn't expecting
yeah, no.
existentialism.
Yeah. But no, like the fact that like my character didn't know who he was or why he was there, but he was just like along for the journey, like really spoke to like my internal like consciousness of
It's
like who I
kind of
am.
that's kind of the direction I was heading with it. Was your character is essentially a nobody, so
Yeah.
now you can just be anybody. Like your character has no constraints to himself. He can
Yeah.
be whoever he wants.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like what happened when I joined the party, was that like I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know
I feel like it was
like
pretty
how things were
obvious.
working.
I
And
feel like it was
then
pretty obvious, but sorry, continue.
yeah. But no, I didn't know who you guys were. I didn't know like what was happening. I was just kind of like in a blind panic of what was happening because I didn't know anything. And so since I didn't remember anything, I felt like I needed like people to surround me until I could figure my life out basically. And so I just joined the group. I found out about like Markov and all these other people that you guys were having problems with. And so I was just basically along the journey trying to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, that's essentially all I had on my character.
Very cool.
Nailed it.
Yeah. But
Well, I
yeah.
was about to say, I know it was very obvious. Man, Click hated the shit out of Pompton when you guys first met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
did,
god.
like, everybody.
I'm just like,
There
oh
was-
hey,
there was
there's
a
this guy that
specific
needs
reason.
help, and then you're just like, you stole my kill, and you try to attack.
Yeah,
Man.
I fucking so he was
One of-
supposed to be a lot more of a jackass than he ended up being, which is why I just started attacking people at random.
You were going to be more of a jackass than you were already.
Yeah.
What would that have entailed? I'm fascinated to hear how
One
it
of-
could have possibly been worse than when we
One
first
of the
met you.
most chaotic character introductions I've ever seen.
You're the
Yeah.
most murder hobo I've ever seen when you first were
Yeah.
introduced.
Yeah, I
Immediate PvP. Instantly.
I almost
It's your
I
first
almost-
time.
friendly fire was engaged at the
I was-
get-go.
I was so afraid that you were gonna have to immediately make a new character.
Yeah.
Hey, click.
Oh yeah, we don't fuck with that.
Click when he just like shot the ground at the side of your head and then cocked the gun again and then pointed it into your face. I was like, this is it. You're done.
This is
Yeah, I was
it.
just gonna have to make
You
a new
pissed
character
Kale
offer
off. Kale is mad. You're gonna die.
it.
Right, because
Yeah, Click was ready to do it. He was like, yeah.
I don't think we've ever been like
can't
that
remember
against
the
each other.
specific reason why I picked you, but I picked you for like a very specific reason, and I can't remember what it was.
It's because I stole your kill. Apparently, that's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I
Stole
said.
you.
It's 'cause
I
he's your
said that
cousin and
because
you
I
wanted to
didn't
fuck with
remember
it.
at the time why I was gonna attack you. I just knew as soon as like I got into like the fight that I was gonna just beat the fuck out of you.
You were supposed to-
And then I
Okay, so
ended up
you're just
getting
in character
shotgun.
then.
So that just
You're just in
Huh?
character then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never like been against each other in that kind of way, right? To the point where it's like actually causing harm to each other.
Yeah.
I think that
So
was
that
the most.
happened.
we almost got there with my first character.
Yeah, and so
You're
I
right.
remember looking down at Megan's screen, and she's here like, "What the fuck is he doing?" Like, and I'm over here like, "This is a team game.
Yeah.
This is a
That was the most.
collaborative
I think the
game."
most united our characters acted. I think the entire game
Tom
was
Yeah,
getting him on the ground and getting him knocked the
Yeah.
fuck out.
Yeah, it was
So
so
fast.
funny.
We were more coordinated taking you down than we did Markov.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fucking fast. You had less than
It
a
was so
round
bad.
before you were already restrained.
Yeah.
Had a gun
I don't
in your
even think I
hand.
got to a second round.
Yeah, your action
Yeah.
economy, dude, was fucked. Man, you weren't getting out of
Yeah.
that
We
one.
destroyed.
Yeah. Fucking it was
We
so
surprise round your
hilarious.
ass in the middle of combat.
Yeah. But no, fucking no, I thought my character introduction was super fucking funny.
It was
It
pretty
was.
Like,
funny.
The-
He
yeah, just
ruined me as the story went on.
yeah, instant fucking
Your
catch
growth.
these hands.
Your character's growth was amazing.
Yeah,
The
I was-
only-
It
yeah.
was.
yeah. I will say I was very worried that you were going to be that like toxic player, like, oh, I'm a lone wolf, oh, I'm fighting for myself, I'm just here for
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah,
Fair.
so
I was
that-
very worried.
that's where my character was gonna go to begin with. Was like he was gonna be like this complete jackass to all of you guys. Like, I don't know why the fuck I'm with you guys. I'm trying to just like get out of here. But then he kind of like started warming up into like the team, and he's like, you know what, I like these guys. I'm gonna stick around, see this through, and hopefully I get my memories in the process.
And that
Which
was
you
the
ended
good
up getting.
decision.
Mhm.
Good
Yeah.
decision.
The
Yeah,
only
but-
the only character action that comes close to your first response to try and kill one of us, for me, is when in a different campaign, Killian used Cygnus as a human shield. Like,
Yeah.
officers. I was
Oh,
Dawson. I've
I
never
forgot about
been
that.
more taken aback by a player action before. You're like, I'm gonna grab this other character and use them as a meat shield. And your backstory was that you knew each other for so long. You had only had each other for so long. And Killian's immediate reaction to the police is you grab this small little girl and you just brace
This
her in front of you.
fresh 18-year-old, first time ever doing anything.
Unpaid engineer.
What's funny
Yeah,
too is that
Your
she
unpaid
was so
labor.
much smaller than my character. There's
Yes.
no way that she was an
Yes.
effective human shield either.
You just
No.
wanted to use me.
My plan was
Maybe
to
shield
basically
you.
like use her and then just charge the enemy. That was my plan.
I know what your plan was, Dawson. That's why I had to put a stop to it immediately.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did that, and I was
yeah.
like, all right, so they have stun guns now. They just have those, I guess, because this can't happen. This gotta stop here. Gotta end this right now.
And then
Stun guns, you're
it's
down.
even worse because you didn't feel any remorse. Because I was
No.
like, you just used me
Killian-
as a fucking
Killian
human
truly
shield.
did not give a shit. He has
He did not.
No, and here we are mourning
No
for
fucks
him.
given. I know.
Asshole.
Listen, I have actual reasons to mourn him
He's,
now.
he's like an onion, right? He's when
He's
you
got layers.
when you see him at first and you try to like cut him open, he like hurts you a little bit. But then once you get to it, you understand this guy actually tastes pretty great.
When you
Yeah.
fry him and
But-
desecrate him.
But by
Yeah.
then you're already crying.
by then the onion's
When you
gone.
cut him
It's
up,
disappeared.
fry him, then it's like, oh yeah, this guy's all right.
But then
Yeah.
you've eaten him already, and now there's no more.
Yeah.
And
He's
your
like
breath
an
stinks.
onion.
That was a
Like,
great
onion
analogy for
don't
mourning
get-
the death of a terrible character.
Not
Not
He
terrible
had
as in like
he
they
had
were
his
played
good
terribly,
moments.
as in just
He
they were
was
just
good
immoral.
distinctness on the occasion. It was
Mhm.
enough to be a little sad for him.
He went out as he lived in the most brazen, impotent way possible, using a whip against a rock monster. Fucking loser.
I was trying to cut him
you,
on fire.
Dawson, you were like, you were poisoned and actively suffocating. You pulled out a leather whip and you were hitting rocks. And that's how you
You were
fucking
trying to
died.
catch a rock on fire?
I was trying to
Yes.
catch him on fire.
Killian is the most
Why?
egotistical fuckhead I've ever seen in this game.
Not only was he trying to catch a rock on fire, he was trying to catch a frozen rock on fire
Yes.
in
Was
the
that
middle of a
legitimately your
frozen
plan?
tundra ice cave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my fuck! I didn't know your plan was so.
All you had to do was cough. All you had to do was cough
Bad.
once, and you refused to do it. You fought poisoned until the very end because you're a stubborn
I
bastard.
think I had like disadvantage like 2 or something.
Page 2,
My God.
which
You
is
was
not a
really
game
off.
mechanic.
You were hurting
It was
so bad.
really awful.
You didn't hit a single attack.
Nope.
No.
It was a one-sided beatdown.
And yet Diesel still rolled worse.
And,
And
Diesel
somehow-
somehow
Still
did so much worse.
Worst roller
I don't
I've
think
ever
he
seen.
got above a 10.
The greatest
He's
got
self
the worst
sabotage.
luck. I enjoy playing with Diesel, but man, does his luck suck.
And it
Yeah.
rubs off on everyone. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
listen.
He,
Let me tell
he
you
needs
how
a
bad-
really random dice online.
I
Let
had
me tell you
to,
how
I
bad
had
of a roller.
I had to go to the other side of the table.
Yes,
to, like
exactly.
get good rolls.
Yeah, let me tell you how bad of a roller Decent is, Oren. Like, Diesel is such a bad roller. I watched him roll like at least 10 nat ones in a single session.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
immediately
God.
die like in that session and cause the death of another character. That bad.
Yeah, Sam was
Jesus.
really mad.
I was so mad. Like,
I'll be
not
back.
at
My
gonna grab
God.
something.
Yeah,
Not at Diesel. I was mad at the character
I thought you.
for being
I think you were a little mad at Diesel. I think you were a little
No,
mad.
because like
No?
I was like, you are dedicated to the character and I admire that in you, but oh my fucking god. But no, like I've never seen a guy just be more lost in the sauce. But
Jesus.
we did a little like Thanksgiving one shot. It was just Diesel, Dawson, and I over at Daniel's house. Right? Me hanging out with the D's. But like
Triple D, baby.
and his rolls
Oh.
were still so bad that slowly throughout the session, Dawson's role started going downhill. And we had to fix the feng shui of the room in order for either of them to start rolling above a 10.
That's
Like,
so bad.
Jesus
Dawson had to
Christ.
get up, move over, sit next to me. I moved closer to Daniel, and we quarantined him
Yeah.
over there.
It's the only way
And he
Diesel can
finally
win.
rolled a nat 20. He finally rolled 1.
It's the only way Diesel can get
Only one.
any amount of success is if he is completely alone.
We had to fix
Damn.
the feng shui
I'll
of
be
the
right back.
room.
He's fun to play with, though.
Man.
He is fun to play
Oh,
with.
he is.
I think you'd like him, but man,
Well, maybe he'll reappear as Blinky.
Maybe.
maybe.
I hope he comes back as Blinky. I don't know
Yeah,
where
we-
we're gonna start after the one shots.
I don't either.
We'll see.
Speaking
gonna
of,
be
are
great
you
anyway.
Whitney, are you joining us for that campaign, Lauren, or no?
So we talked about it, and then due to the fact that there's so many people in the next one, we thought that we would leave. I would stay out of the campaign for a little bit, so you guys can, so that way everybody can get into the flow of things, and then as we progress, we might add me in there,
Okay,
but it's still a very big if on whether or not I'm going to be joining you guys on that one, because there is a lot of people in there.
gotcha. Yeah, there is.
So
Did
That's
you
fair.
enjoy this one?
yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one. Like it, I had played one D&D session back in like middle school, where I played one time, didn't even get like a full session in, and then the people that were running like the D&D campaign just like stopped going, and so we never like actually got anywhere with it. So this is my second, like, or I guess technically like my first real experience with D&D. It was definitely a very good time.
Yeah,
I definitely enjoyed it.
it really do be like that. That was my first D&D experience too. Like we were fucking around. We had no idea what we're doing, and then we just stopped playing.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
That was my first experience as well.
Yeah.
My first experience was with my uncle. He was the one DMing, and I played for years in that campaign.
Must be
Damn.
nice.
Yeah,
That sounds so
I kind of
nice.
miss it,
Anyways,
but it was a lot of fun, and I do really miss that character. I kind of want to revisit him again because he's still out there. Man, I love
How did he
Frush.
die?
Huh?
Oh, Frush.
No, not Johnny. No, Frush was my first character ever. He's a
Johnny Bravo.
Dragonborn bard. And his name is Frush Noda. Yeah, that's kind of cringy, but no, the way his character progressed, I really enjoyed it because he at first was like this really cocky bard, like the bard stereotype, right? Like, you know, like a slay dragon and a lady, you know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say gay.
He was a little gay too, but
Yeah.
towards the end of that, he was very, I don't know. He got humbled so much that he just kind of became meek. It was just like, yeah, I'll help you guys. Yeah, I'm here. You know.
man.
I just really miss him. He also had a pet mimic,
Love
which is
that.
pretty cool.
That's cool.
And I think it was also a warlock. Yeah, because his patron was, I think, a fiend or something. That was his music manager. He would like set tours for him and shit.
That's pretty cool.
That tracks. That makes sense.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, his little pet mimic. I forget his mimic's name, but he always liked to be in a form of a book because his mimic was really, really stupid and thought if he was a book, he would seem smarter. But he wasn't. But well, we had like a team attack that Frush and his book mimic would do, or I'd just throw the book at somebody and it'd just eat their face off.
Like the book
Love
from Harry
that.
Potter.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
What a dumb idea for a book. That's truly just a bad idea.
But he wouldn't
Yeah.
turn in anything else ever. He's like, no, I like being a book. He also talked like a 5-year-old.
I wonder how many
His
casualties
intelligence
that
so
book
low.
has. One of those books
Probably
has
a
in the
lot.
Harry Potter
'Cause
universe.
that's another thing. After a fight, I would have to like dismember like hands and fingers and shit so I could feed him. Because if I didn't feed him, eventually, if I didn't feed him long enough, he was gonna eat me in my sleep.
Jeez.
One of
Yeah.
my
So.
characters had armor like that. It was like mimic armor. And it
Oh.
was really good armor, right? And it just kind of sat there, but every so often I would hear "meow, meow, meow," and start to feel like I was being chewed on. So I'd have to like feed it little scraps of
Oh.
meat or like
So like a symbiote or something.
yeah, or had to like pour honey down my chest to feed it.
Whoa.
That sounds so civil.
It was awful.
It reminds me of
Daniel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I I thought you said you had like several questions for us to talk about this campaign specifically, and I was just gonna ask if you had any
Yeah, we're
more.
kind of getting off topic here.
I was
Yeah, a little bit.
I
Sorry.
love us getting off topic, but I thought you had said you had like a list, and so I
I'm
was
so good at
going to
derailing. I'm
deviate
sorry,
back to
guys.
that.
You're fine. We're doing it too.
We got most of them, but yeah, like, what's your favorite moment in the campaign, if you have one? Can you think of a favorite moment you had? I'll go first.
Session 10,
All
for
right.
sure.
They
Specific.
got the specifics.
Yeah.
No, because like, okay. And I told you guys I listened back to this, right? Session 10, which we have, is it's us stuck in that facility, right? It was after we had gone down due to all the soldiers and just gotten freaking slaughtered. It was,
It's a very fun moment we all endured.
right.
We
Yeah.
don't
It was
have,
awesome.
It was
we don't
after
have
the
to talk
lowest
about it.
point of the campaign, is what you're saying.
Yes. Right. Because we all really like broke down who our characters were, and like we were super unified as players, right? Like not necessarily as characters, we were all scattered everywhere and some of us were still fighting with each other or pissing each other off, right? But as players we were all like, okay, here we are, we're in this moment together. There's nowhere to go but up. Like we have to keep trying and fighting however it goes down, right? We were all in each other's corner. And so I really enjoy listening back to those role playing moments, right? Like Reach's one-on-one solo, knockout drag down fight with Markov. I really like, Linux and the Void talking via code, right? This like logical robot battle that just happens between the two of them. I like that moment a lot. I like the conversation that happened between Click and Moose, where it was like, okay, how we're gonna get out of this facility, and then all of a sudden Click is like, his eyes are still open. Right? Like that fucking
That was a
that
hard ass
doesn't-
line.
He really
that was
popped
a
off with
hard
that.
ass
Yeah.
line. I wrote it down. It sticks with me. It lives in my head rent free. I pay it rent to live in my head. Okay?
Man, you
That's how hard
just
that went.
saying that again, that just gave me goosebumps, man.
Right? And it was the entire conversation between like really breaking down who Pomty was and how close he and Reach were thematically to each other in their conversation. It was the angel and devil sitch between Lennox and Tubby, of all things, trying
was
to
fun.
calm Reach
I enjoyed
down.
that.
Right?
Yeah, I think that was like my favorite course of lines because like with who my character was supposed to be, and like his morality complex, like it really spoke to his character of like, yeah, I know you're going through this, but you got to pull yourself together and you're just gonna have to get through the day
Yeah.
and
Like,
you're gonna have to get through this.
oh yeah, like there's an entire section of my notes that's just blank. Like there's nothing on this page because I was so engrossed in what was happening, I could not write at the same time.
Yeah.
I can guess Daniel's favorite moment in the campaign.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Watching that raccoon get crushed in Rex's chest.
You're fucking right. Yeah.
Yeah!
It's my favorite moment in any campaign. Holy
That,
moly.
that was the worst moment.
Yeah, we
That
haven't
was the
talked about
worst
that
moment
because
the
that's in the
campaign.
lost episode. In the last episode, one of the funniest, most satisfying things I've ever experienced as a player happened. Dark Hunter. Remember that raccoon you liked so much?
Oh yeah, we lost the
Remember that
episode.
bastard
Fuck.
raccoon that kept showing up? Well, it escaped from the prison we made for it, and it found its way down several layers into a secure Russian facility on Pomty's shoulder without any of us knowing, including Pomty. We saw it. Tried to kill it. Click. Immediate. Tried to shoot it. I immediately tried to slice its head off. Right. I think Moose was there, like ready to wrestle the raccoon away. I'd say the only time we've been more united was when we were trying to kill Pomty. But in this moment, I think we moved like such an oiled machine, trying to just destroy this raccoon that had been usurping the campaign.
And the sword that cut off its head was me.
Yes,
Pomty just has a way of
Pom-
uniting people.
bro.
Pomty decided that because his chest has an opening, like a chest cavity, like sort of like Reach does, he was gonna put the raccoon in it and close it. And like a garbage truck, he failed to understand that there's no space in there. So he closed it.
However,
And
we
on
were thinking that
jagged-
it was a demon, so it could still be roaming around the cyberpunk world. And then it just like hit itself with the blood on my armor.
And
So
It was a
Yeah.
juice box the entire
we
time.
never actually
We
opened up
never-
my chest cavity to find a corpse.
Nobody,
So
Yeah.
nobody
You're
did
right,
ever try and
actually.
look for it.
Yeah, this is Schrodinger's raccoon now.
I choose
We
to believe.
never saw the body.
No.
I choose never to open the
I
box.
choose to believe that
It's Pandora's
the
box.
horrible raccoon was crushed to death in the Iron Maiden that is Pomty's body. Because
Awful.
that makes me happy. No, I think my actual favorite moment though, if I had to pick like a gripping one, more so, was probably. Oh man, I said earlier I was gonna go first because I had it, and then you talked about that one session, and that I think has changed it.
I'm sorry.
No,
Like
it's
I
okay.
just I had that in my soul, dude.
Oh yeah. I think my favorite moment was when Reach. It's not episode 10, but it's an earlier session where I think Reach had like a falling out with Linux at the bar. Where they got into
Oh.
an argument.
That was like
and
2 sessions before, I think.
Reach said
Oh,
that
yeah.
you like weren't human. Why would you want to experience pain? It's like,
Right,
he
yeah.
Yeah, that
wished
was
he had
a
what
few
you had,
sessions before.
and that you could never understand or something like that. And he stumbled out of the bar drunk, stood in the rain, which wasn't there before. But I asked Dawson was like, "Do you want there to be rain?" And I was like, "Yes, please." And he was like, "Okay, it's raining now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes."
It's raining now. We're
think
not
that was,
gonna
like-
talk about it.
After you died, I think.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
who
that was-
died?
Was
Oh, yeah,
it?
after
I think it was like after you died, quote unquote.
You might be
brought me
right
back.
about that.
I think I was on my Reach was at another low point because he had just lost the fight.
Your
But
first loss in
my
the entire
first
campaign.
my first real loss, and he steps out into the rain, closes his eyes, and just kind of lets it fall on him, and that's when he decides to kind of abandon what little self-preservation he had at the moment to reach even further,
Yeah.
right? Because he had hit sort of a wall in being better. He'd hit a limit of the number of upgrades that he could take without, being completely destroyed by the psychosis that was already plaguing him at that moment. I think in that roleplay moment, out in the rain, when he starts to mount his motorcycle, is the turning point for his character where he just decides that this is it. He's got to go all in.
Yeah.
And he gets his rocket boots, which gives him
Oh,
the
yeah.
ability to fly, which was going to be more impressive, but it didn't end up being a part of the final fight or anything. But But yeah, that was his final upgrade, I think. Not maybe that episode, but the rocket boots were definitely his final upgrade. I remember specifically those being the last one.
Reach was like Mega Man X.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
just
think
going around getting more and more upgrades.
the item I used the most was the Wand of Magic Missile,
hmm
which just let me fire off 7 magic missiles at once.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
crazy.
It feels so good. It just feels great. Being honest, it just feels amazing to just pop off 9 magic missiles, even though I could only use it like once every 3 sessions because I had to recharge. That and then
Damn.
that and my Helm of Teleportation that we reflavored as my Sandevistan. Those are my 2 favorite ones to use.
Oh.
There was a combo that you guys actually never got to see. There was an item I never once used that was supposed to be a part of my Cyber Psycho containment unit, where it basically fries. So it's called Agonazar's Scorcher. Is the spell? There's an item by a similar name that essentially, and let me see if I can pull it up. Yes, it's called the Pyro Converger. It's a flamethrower that carries a risk of malfunction every time you use it, because this is obviously the prototype that I found. It deals 46 fire damage, or no, as a
I'll be right back.
fire and 10-foot cone.
Okay.
Yeah, it deals 46 fire damage, but each time I use it, it carries the risk of backfiring and also dealing 46 fire damage to me. The idea is, it's the second half of the Cyber Psycho containment unit that never even made it to beta testing. This is one of the alpha products that I stole. You're supposed to grab the Cyber Psycho, hold them in front of you, and because it's a dex save, flipping on the Pyro Converger, which is also inside the chest, while they're in front of me, restrained by the coils, is an automatic fail because they're restrained.
Oh,
See, the idea is you rope
you're
them
just
in,
gonna spit roast her,
and then
dude.
you fry them. But that never got used because the Pyro Converger was just too risky, and there was always a better move.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I like the idea
Damn.
though.
I want to know what your favorite funny moment was. Sam. 'Cause I
My
think we should all
favorite-
do like favorite funny moment and then serious.
and I think this is going to be our
Okay.
last topic because I have to go after this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Favorite funny moment. I think it was. You're gonna hate this.
Okay.
I think it was calling Moose a hag
Mm-hmm.
That
because
was really good.
right up until that point, we had been having a really rough go of things, and everybody was getting drunk, both
Right.
in and out of character. And there had been this really very tender moment between Linux and Reach. There'd been a few leading up to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they had this very tender moment, and then at some point, Reach goes, "Yeah, call her a hag. It would be funny. I'd really enjoy that. It would be funny."
Mhm.
And Sam, was like, "Well, shit. Yeah, now I gotta." And so I was like, "Okay." He said to. He said it would be funny. It would cheer him up. And Linux is really attached to Reach at this point, so let's fucking go. And so I did. And so I did. And I don't know at what point Megan bled into Moose for that reaction. I really don't. Because I don't think I've ever seen you that flabbergasted at something
was-
I did.
Yeah. That was very much both me and Moose being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because I
And
don't
I'm
think
not sure where Daniel bled into Reach either, because I don't think I've ever seen him laugh that hard.
it was because Megan wasn't there for that conversation, right? Megan was doing
No.
a separate roleplay moment with Kale. Because
Yes.
they're in the
So
same
that was
room.
pure surprise to
So
me.
it was completely unexpected, unprompted, and I don't remember what exactly you said, but just throwing hag in there, and then
Yeah.
watching Megan's face go from like that, just shock and horror. was so good.
Yeah,
Oh my
because I was like,
God.
hag of all things. I mean, old woman, grandma. I'm used to hag.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that
during
was
yeah
I
during
think the only time I've ever seen you laugh harder is and Daniel's the only one who will know what I'm talking about. Stevie's tires. That's the only time I've ever seen you laugh that hard.
oh my God, I forgot about that. That remains one of the funniest things I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I can't be mad about that. I
Who
wasn't
the
mad
fuck
then. I
slashed
can't
my
be mad.
tires is just like you were saying. I pay it for rent to live in my head. Like it's one of my core memories at this point. It's this whole separate campaign thing where I was conspiring with Sam's fiance to do in-game stuff, and
Which was a bad plan.
it's a
We'll
horrible,
just say.
horrible,
Mhm.
horrible plan. But
okay.
then their character's name was a Duchess, so the Duchess slashed Sam's character's tires. The car, brand new. It had been in the game for like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
And
I picked it up from my
yeah,
house
Sam
after
was
not being able to drive.
so excited to have this car. And watching Sam come out and the DM being like, yeah, you look at the tires and they're slashed. I, Sam being like, what the fuck do you mean they're slashed? Like, oh God, it was so
I
funny.
wrote in my in character notes in all caps, "Who the fuck slashed my tires?"
And watching Colleen gaslight you, it was amazing. It was
Right.
amazing.
As soon as her character's brothers like called her out on it,
hmm
I knew that it was her. But I was like, would my character even think that? And the answer was no.
I was
So-
DMing Colleen the entire time. Anyways, my favorite funny moment from this campaign was probably one of the most impulsive character decisions I've ever made in my life. And it was when we were
Okay.
caught in an alleyway. You might remember this. We were caught in an
Oh
alleyway
God.
and somebody, I think it was Kale, did you say, is it a crime to love a man? The police
Yeah.
caught us in an alleyway with illegal goods. And Click goes, is it a crime to love another man? And I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but
I don't think there was thoughts
no,
involved
there
with that.
wasn't. Again, it was the most impulsive thing I've ever said. I
That
was just
was
like,
your
yeah, Reach just starts dry humping Click.
Yeah. Click and Breach have conversation about cockroaches, nearly get caught and end up dry humping each other as a diversion. Quote, is it a crime to love another man? Click in his infinite wisdom.
And I don't remember exactly what Reach said, but again, I was just like not thinking as I kept talking. That wasn't the only thing I did. I said something to the police officer and I don't remember what it was.
No.
But I remember it being
They
one of
immediately
the
left after
stupidest
that.
things. Yes.
And then because I re-listened to it, you just spoke out of pure panic as if you were like your actions were beyond your control.
I was
You were like
possessed.
speaking. Yeah, you were speaking like you were watching this happen and couldn't do anything
Like I
about it,
was
as if you were not the one
observing
who.
as I was a horrified observer to actions that were out of my control. That's how it
Yes,
felt.
that's exactly how you sounded.
That's how
I
it
am
felt. It was like-
fully of the opinion that Reach is bi-convenient. It's like bi-curious, but he's bisexual when it's
But
convenient
you
for
did
him.
also
That's
shake
so
your
good.
ass at a
yeah, it got
at
me.
a bouncer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
bouncer.
remember
I forgot
that.
about that.
Yeah.
I forgot how Click got into that. How did he get into it? Oh yeah, I gave him a BD. I was like, here's
Yeah.
some porn, bro.
You gave him porn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I made him horny and then you gave him porn. It's a perfect 1-2.
It was
perfect
a
operation.
well executed.
So good.
Oh, who's
Very,
left?
very good.
Who's left for funniest moments?
Well, it's me and Kale, and then Oren if he was here.
Okay, you go, Megan.
So okay. My favorite serious moment, I think, was the dual role plays between me and Kale
Mhm.
and you and Sam.
Hmm.
I re-listened to it like right before we played last week, and y'all's conversation was so good. I just love when two characters sit down and have a very deep, meaningful conversation with each other. And it revealed a lot out of both of your. It revealed a lot about your characters' minds, like mindsets, how you felt towards each other and stuff. And then, of course, the conversation with me and Kale, I think, did the same thing. Because it was a lot of just us talking about each other's past, him being mildly drunk, talking about Treasure Island.
I'm not big
But-
on the autism allegations, bro.
No.
Oh, no, you've been sitting here painting an action figure this whole time.
Hey, that's my passion, okay? That's different.
Yeah, the special
Oh, that's
interest.
the-
I got you.
The 2 shelves behind you. Just figures all over them. But,
Okay, funny moment. Go.
okay, funny moment.
Yeah, shut up. Sorry.
I have to eat dinner.
Okay. Oh, okay. Funny moment, I think, was if it wasn't me making fun of your dick first session,
Oh gosh.
because that was really funny,
That's
it was
pretty
the
funny.
one in which me and Linux were a diversion by twerking on the dance floor.
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yes!
What were you guys dancing to, by
Wait,
the way? I remember it
no
was a
way.
We
specific
never
song.
talked about that.
We came full circle then. So wait, so the first like real plan we made was you guys distract them by partying. The final last episode.
You're so right, actually.
In the last episode, Dark Hunter, our one viewer,
Yeah.
in order to break into this facility,
Oh
we came
my
up
god!
with the worst fucking possible idea, and it, funny enough, was the exact same plan. Have a party, distract them, and it was also Linux, and it was
Linux
also
went disco
Moose.
mode!
Disco
I
mode came
completely-
back. That's so funny.
That's so funny.
It's the same plan. We did the same thing.
It's hilarious! And it
we
worked!
didn't even know.
It did work. It did work.
Subconsciously, our default plan is party mode. That's our
That's so
default plan.
And it worked.
funny.
That's concerning.
Don't fix what ain't broken, man. All right.
Linux
We were
is an
successful 2 out of 2 times.
entertainment spot,
I know.
okay?
It's just natural, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite. So,
Okay.
Kale, go.
Me? Oh, okay. Oh, man, it's hard to choose a serious one because there's a lot of really good moments. I'll just say this just to be different.
Okay.
You're not like other players.
Yeah, I'm not like other players. But also, I just don't think enough attention's brought to it.
Mhm.
The conversation between Rex and Reach, and the last
Yeah.
episode, the finale.
Yeah, I'm really
And-
sad that I.
The
that
main
I
reason why it
Wild.
impacted me so heavily was because I got an ad for a video game that was playing a really good song.
Yeah, you've talked about that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my god, this is beautiful. This is amazing character interaction right here.
Did you ever figure out what song it was?
Yeah, I sent it to the chat. I sent
Yeah.
the M83 outro.
M83 outro.
Yeah, and it was
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to
damn,
listen to this after we're done here.
Other than that serious moment, though, it's probably our 2-on-2 interactions that we had, like Megan was saying.
Mhm.
That to me, because also the whole Treasure Island thing, I kind of pulled that out of my ass, but I feel like it worked because I feel like it really dug into Click's like inner reasoning for why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Funny moment.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, there's so many. Same thing with serious moments. Oh my lord.
Pick one that we haven't talked about yet.
Pick one we haven't talked about.
That should narrow it
We
down.
really fucked around a lot in this.
We really
we
did.
do.
It's
We do
why
really
it
fuck
took
around a lot.
13 sessions.
That's the D&D experience, baby.
You're right. You're
The
right.
flex off and cook off
Yes!
were
Those were
both
so
Those are
amazing.
so good.
The flex off was just
The
It
flicks
was-
off was so funny, dude.
it was
Another-
awing, but it was also like there was no winning. It was just like, why are you guys doing this to each other?
Yeah, the way I wrote about the flex off is wild too. Like, Oh my god. How did I even... I know I have it in here, and I'll bring it up if I can find it.
Okay. All I remember about the flex off is Dawson was gonna make me keep going until I lost.
Yeah.
And we weren't having it. And that's another moment where we coordinated better than we ever have in combat with getting my ability checks consistently to beat whoever I was competing against. I don't even remember.
You.
Not worth my attention. But that was
It was
pretty
just
fun.
you and Linux.
Oh, I found it.
No, there was a flex off. I'm talking about the flex off, not the cook off.
Yeah,
I mean, like it was Linux was the only one helping.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was the only one
You were
helping.
working against
But-
me.
Yeah, somebody was.
I wasn't
But-
there.
No,
You kept giving
I
blessings.
think everybody was
Guidance.
like backing you because I even get I think I helped you at one point. That
yeah,
like mocked whoever else it was.
right. I think it was you,
Deal.
right? Because Moose was in the building trying to find antiseptic and antibiotic for the robot arm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
for the Gaunt Glock. But
Yeah.
what I have written down is Reach enters flex off with Steel, wins 4-0 before dropping out of the competition while still flexing on him. Get wrecked.
Hell yeah.
Get wrecked, son.
REK wrecked.
Get wrecked.
All right, Oren.
Okay. I actually don't remember a whole lot of the funny moments.
Well, you get a funny and a serious. So
Yeah.
All this guy was thinking about was the next time he's gonna punch something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like that's I love that way too badly. Oh my god. I gotta say the funniest. I gotta say the funniest one would have probably been my introduction, where every single person was just attacking me after I hit click.
well,
That's
you
so
did a-
funny because that was not a funny moment for me.
Yeah,
I don't think it was funny for anybody else, but thinking back on it,
No,
it is kind of funny. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hilarious how my character got brought in. Let's see here. Serious moment. I gotta think of a different serious moment because you mentioned the
It can be
one
a
with
You guys haven't
Reach
said
and
one.
You
Rex.
don't have to think about a different one if you don't want.
Like,
You don't have to
No,
be
like
the
if it's your
competition
favorite
between-
serious moment, go for it.
Yeah. My favorite serious moment was definitely after I got my memories back and watched the tapes, because that whole interaction of just like Rex having a existential crisis of just like I don't know if I even wanted my memories back, and just like knowing who I was, and then Reach kind of like backing me up and like trying to help me out of that dark space that I got in after that. It was just insane, and that kind of like led into the final moments with Reach of like I'll keep the promise between us, and that's why I joined the Blackhawks, was so that way I could keep that promise to Reach after he died.
That reminds me.
But no,
This is my last bit. I forgot about this, but Reach's little catchphrase that I came up with was like, "Better than I was yesterday," right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember where I made that up because it was on the spot. I didn't plan that to be his catchphrase. I remember where I made it up. It was in the fight with
It
Markov.
was. I have
In the
a lot
facility.
of quotes from that one.
But that's where I made it up. I don't remember what the context was,
Really?
but he said something, and I was like, "Well,
Yeah,
I'm better than I was yesterday," or something like that. I think it was
Yeah.
because he killed me last time, and it was a rematch. And he was like, "I worked
Right.
your ass last time," and I said, "Well, that sucks for you. I was better than I was yesterday," or something along those lines. And
Yes.
So
you remember
what I
that?
have written down here is that Markov came into the room and called you, quote, the man who wishes to be more than he is, and then asked you why you do that. And it was like to be better. right? And then you asked him if he's better than he was yesterday or if he's still Russian scum,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah. So that was made up on the spot, and then I don't remember why that stuck with me. Maybe it was probably some of you guys gas me up too much sometimes. Where you
I disagree.
and I remember I
I
think
don't
it
think
was
we catch you up
You
enough.
deserve it.
probably Sam, because Sam, you catch most of the one-liners. You must have said something about that line specifically because for some reason it stuck with me, and I usually don't remember my own one-liners.
Yeah, I have a lot of run-liners from you. Immediately after that, I have like, is this my grave? Is this table my coffin? Then fucking bury me.
Oh, I
That
forgot
was
about
so
that.
That one
cool.
was so good.
Yeah,
That
that
was-
went hard.
That was
That went
hard.
hard.
Yeah, yeah. I have that.
I will say my biggest regret of losing the Lost episode was we had some banger one-liners in there.
Sure did.
I remember we were popping off.
Literally.
I mean, really, I think Sam, you said at one point, literally said, we are popping off with these one-liners. Like
Yeah.
we were slinging them around.
I'll see if I have any. I don't know if I do, but
I've got the one that Markov said when he said it's time you pick a god and pray.
Yeah,
And then I
have that one too.
think that's when he grabbed Pomty and like threw him or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was brutal.
And he was fighting Click at one point, and he was like, "If I was your father, I'd be disappointed." And so then Click was like, "Soon you'll be like my father." And
Yeah.
then
Um,
that was so good.
yeah,
I was
well,
pretty proud of that one.
yeah, he was just like nonchalantly was like, "Well, you're about to be like my father." Good lord. At one point, Markov said, "Let us finish this. It is best not to keep the dead waiting."
Yep.
Which, fucking, oh my god. I have a lot of good Markov quotes. Actually, I think he's the most like well put together villain I've ever faced in a campaign. Right? He
I'm happy
feels
to hear
very.
that.
You did really
Yeah.
good on
He feels like a person, like a whole being, and not just like a phantasmal
He's-
for evil. He's a whole dude.
He's got actual reasons and motivations for what he does.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
Well, they're
He's
shitty
dead
and they
now.
suck.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
On that note, Dawson, are there any last remarks that you have as our dungeon master before we go into a campaign where you will be a player again? Any final words before I stop this special 14th episode, 13th technically tribute that replaces our last episode?
You know, I went into this expecting it not to be as good as it was, honestly. But you know, I sort of laid out the road, you guys walked it, and I don't think you could have done better than what you guys did.
Except for that one time you chloroformed.
We don't have to talk about that. That didn't happen.
Us to ride on the road, whether we wanted
God.
to or not.
Oh
No,
god.
but like
Steve
way-
Elvis.
the way you guys went with what I was giving you was just I couldn't have asked for more. It was so great.
Oh, thank you, Dawson.
Thank
Thank
It
you.
was wonderful.
Even though I give you a lot of shit.
Always.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
genuinely had
that one
such a good time.
100% necessary.
This campaign, that wasn't one shot. The way it ended baffled me. Like, genuinely, I was not expecting it to be anywhere near this good. I wasn't expecting it to have this much impact on me as a player.
Yeah,
The fact that Megan cried had me shook.
Oh my gosh.
I would have if
Dude.
I wasn't so in Linux's head. You know.
I was tearing up. I was about to cry. It's like, shit,
I
my
was
homie's
gonna say
dead.
that Moose was probably tearing up,
That's
but I
like-
got so focused
that-
on me crying I couldn't say anything.
That's like my cherry on top for this.
I'm happy to be an emotional person for you, Dawson.
Well,
Uh,
I'm glad my final performance was a convincing one, at least.
Oh, real quick, can I say everybody's code names for the Blackhawks?
Yes, and then
Yeah.
we'll
You guys,
end the
I don't think you
recording.
guys know them.
No.
We talked about it after the session as we were falling asleep.
That's right. So the one for Click is Hawk. What a fuck of that.
Oh no way, man.
Rex is Eagle. Linux is Sparrow. Moose is Owl. And Reach is the Phoenix. And with his
Oh,
flames, it lit the fire for the Hawks.
That's really nice.
From its ashes came the Hawks. Yeah.
Oh, he
That's
dropped
awesome.
that on me as we're falling asleep at like 12:30 at night.
Did you know that?
I was like, what the fuck?
You know what?
Did you know that before? Did you know before that I was a Phoenix sorcerer?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one of my subclasses was Phoenix.
That is
sorcerer.
poetic.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
You know what's also kind of crazy? The slug shotgun that Markov used. I was going to let one of you guys pick it up as like an item, and it was also called the Phoenix.
Dude,
I just
I'm a
I just-
savant or something. I don't know.
I just randomly scrolled through my notes and I came across a line, Reach becomes a flaming beacon. Hell yeah. I think that's pretty much in line with
You
what we're
see,
talking
this is what we're
about.
talking about. Things just lined up so well with this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just baffling. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
Like-
so
You ever
Lots of
see
bits.
that post where it's like, I sometimes I wish to write a poem about the moments that I'm in, but how could a poem be better than what I'm experiencing? Like, that's it. That's the poem. You know?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's what this entire campaign feels like. Like, that's it. That's the.
We
Best
created
break
a
I've
beautiful
ever
story.
Mhm.
had. I was too invested for it to really be a break, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is awesome.
When like this is not really
This
related
is going to be
to
the end of the
our thing.
recording. So everyone say
Okay.
your final goodbyes, farewells.
Thank you so much, Dark Hunter, for listening. We
Yeah, Dark
apologize about the
Hunter!
final
Thank you
episode.
for being our one
so-
supporter.
I'm so sorry you can't experience the last episode, but hopefully this sort of allows you to get some closure with the story.
If you have any questions, I'll give you a whole rundown of the last episode.
It was
Yeah.
a beautiful
Yeah.
run, beautiful story, and maybe one day you'll see the Blackhawks overhead.
And I'll be so excited if you guys decide to continue this.
That was gas.
I am so down.
And no matter what,
Yeah.
heck,
Yeah.
we'll see you again better than we were yesterday. And that's it.